This will be the end of Wakanda.
And it will be the noblest ending in history.
It's confirmed that Denzel Washington is in Black Panther 3, and though his role remains unknown, ScreenRant has a huge theory about Denzel's MCU debut. In Black Panther 3, he's going to play the first ever Black Panther in the history of Wakanda.
I gave you a key, hoping that you might see it someday. The sunsets there are the most beautiful in the world.
First appearing in 2017's Marvel Legacy #1, Mosi was not the first Wakandan to consume the heart-shaped herb, but back in 1 million BC, he was the first to be favored by the panther spirit Bast, surviving the harrowing transformation process to become Wakanda's first ever Black Panther. While the messy continuity of Marvel Comics also bestows this honor to Bashenga, Mosi is definitively the most ancient Black Panther in the comics. Moreover, the existing slate of MCU Phase 6 already lays the groundwork for Mosi to make his debut. Also known as the Wakandan Dogs of War, the Hatut will reclaim vibranium artifacts lost throughout history in Eyes of Wakanda, the first series in MCU Phase 6. In their search, the Hatut come across Mosi's personal weapons, a set of vibranium claws attached to his knuckles like gloves. And in line with protocol, they store the weapon in a secret vault under Wakanda, accessible only by a Black Panther favored by Bast. The Dogs of War call the case closed, and the vibranium claws of the first Black Panther are soon forgotten. With Eyes of Wakanda streaming on Disney Plus on August 6th, 2025, this will open the door for Black Panther 3 to pick up the story by late 2026 or early 2027. In short, Denzel Washington's Mosi will debut near the end of the Multiverse saga, just before Avengers Secret Wars. Black Panther 3 will begin with Shuri struggling with guilt. As the new Black Panther, she was unable to prevent a war with a nation that could have been Wakanda's greatest ally. So like T'Challa in Black Panther number 14 from 2016, Shuri performs a ritual to call upon her ancestors for answers. However, instead of a congress of the former Black Panthers, only one answers her call in Black Panther 3. While she was hoping to see T'Challa, to Shuri's surprise, she's met on the ancestral plane by a lone Killmonger. Where are the others? How are you doing this? Shuri asks, as thunder and lightning rumble in the distance. But Killmonger is just as perplexed as she is. I'm not doing anything. You're the one who called for help. But hey, it's a nice day out here, so I'm in a good mood. What do you want? Frustrated, Shuri says, I don't need another lecture, Eric, before exiting the vision. Unable to even confer with T'Challa in the ancestral plane, Shuri comes up with a different, much more drastic plan. Using the near-infinite resources of her vibranium lab in Wakanda, Shuri will defy the laws of nature to pull the greatest Black Panther in history out of his timeline, right before he becomes fated to die. Obsessed with bringing T'Challa back, the current Black Panther locks herself in her lab, causing Nakia to be concerned. When Nakia finds a way into Shuri's lab, she immediately deduces what Shuri is trying to do. How did you get inside? Asks Shuri as she appears before Nakia, who ignores the question. As she sees T'Challa's belongings on a pedestal near a portal, Nakia tells Shuri this is not what T'Challa would have wanted. Slowly, Shuri walks towards Nakia. You're right, she says, but it's what I want, and I want what's best for Wakanda. Before Nakia can say anything else, Shuri presses a nearby button. Without warning, the room is bathed in a blinding white explosion. From out of Shuri's portal, lightning cuts across the lab before settling down. And when Shuri and Nakia finally regain their sight, it is not T'Challa who stands before them. Rather, it is Denzel Washington's Mosi, the first Black Panther of Wakanda. Covered in patterned scars from head to toe, except for his face and hands, this confirmed killer cuts a savage figure, contrasting greatly with Shuri's space-age lab. Before Shuri can say anything, Mosi grabs a nearby vibranium spear, assuming a defensive stance. From behind the fangs of his protective vibranium crown, Mosi throws a sharp look at Shuri and Nakia, and then circles them as if to attack. Those markings, you're not T'Challa, but you're Wakandan, says Shuri. Warrior, says Nakia, we are not your enemy. Mosi then stops in his tracks. Without lowering the spear, Mosi looks around. Suddenly he throws his spear through the window and then jumps through the broken glass. Shuri and Nakia immediately follow the stranger but can scarcely keep up with his pace, darting across the streets in a citywide chase across Wakanda. Shuri, that is definitely not T'Challa, Nakia mutters under her breath. Shuri and Nakia track Mosi to a network of caves under the city, carved over eons by streams and dimly lit by the local luminescent flora. As they descend deeper and deeper, they come upon what appears to be the ruins of an old underground civilization. Mother once told me a legend about these caves, says Shuri. Nothing's here now, but the first tribes built this place. Before Wakanda was founded, Nakia snaps back. I'm glad you can think of childhood tales at a time like this. Suddenly they hear the creaking of large stones moving, and when they follow the sound, they come upon a large chamber. There, Mosi stands before a heavy stone door. Hiding behind the shadows, Shuri and Nakia witness an ancient ritual. After picking up a nearby knife from the ruins, Mosi cuts across his left palm and places his hand on the door. The stone absorbs Mosi's blood and then slowly recedes, revealing a metal door that opens with a hiss as Mosi walks through. Shuri and Nakia hurriedly follow, but as soon as Shuri passes the door, it shuts with Nakia still outside. Cautiously, Shuri proceeds, and suddenly she finds herself in a place that's not unlike her own lab. Surrounded by legendary vibranium artifacts, many belonging to the Black Panthers before her, Shuri stands in awe at her new discovery. The legendary vault of the first Hatut Zaraz is real. Suddenly, a strange voice jolts Shuri back to her senses. "You are the Black Panther of this age," Mosi says as he steps out of the shadows. "I am Mosi." As Shuri stares at Mosi, who is busy affixing his claws to his hands, she suddenly realizes who she really pulled out of the multiverse. It can't be," says Shuri. "You're the Black Panther that united Wakanda." As Shuri, Nakia, and Mosi reconvene at Shuri's lab, King M'Baku and Io of the Dora Milaje can't help but ogle at Mosi. Io says, "I think he's even taller than T'Challa." M'Baku elbows Io playfully but takes a serious tone. "This is no laughing matter. Shuri was trying to defy the very laws of nature." Mosi replies, "Yet the will of the multiverse is not so easily bent. Not even by the Black Panther of this astounding era." Just then, Shuri walks into the room. "I think I know how to bring you home." Using a rare seed of the heart-shaped herb and Mosi's vibranium claws, Shuri tracks the exact place and time from where she pulled Mosi out of the multiverse. As Mosi holds the seed in his hand, he stands inside Shuri's portal. And when Shuri hits a switch, a blinding white light once again engulfs the room. However, as Shuri, Nakia, M'Baku, and Io regain their senses, they find Mosi unconscious on the floor. To their horror, standing before the body of Mosi is Killmonger, now armed with the vibranium claws of the first Black Panther. "I didn't think that would work," says Killmonger, examining the body of the unconscious Mosi. "Sorry, old man." As Shuri, Io, M'Baku, and Nakia prepare to defend themselves, several portals open inside Shuri's lab, and from these portals, Hunter B-15 emerges with a host of the TVA's finest. "Princess Shuri and Eric Killmonger, you're coming with us." Somehow, Killmonger has used the incursions to escape the ancestral plane, but not without alerting the TVA. Similarly, while the first use of the portal put Shuri in the TVA's crosshairs, the second allowed them to track her to Wakanda of Earth 616. While the Wakandans put up a fight, the TVA forcibly takes Shuri, Killmonger, and Mosi's unconscious body into custody. However, they are followed closely by Ayo, Nakia, and M'Baku, who secure a tempad from a downed agent. In the mid-credit scene, a now teenage Prince T'Challa tracks the last location of her mother Nakia to her aunt Shuri's lab. And as T'Challa approaches Wakanda's borders in the post-credit scene, Namor watches the young prince from afar and then returns to Talokan to plan his next move. Finally, the multiverse saga has come to Wakanda, and with the arrival of Mosi and Killmonger, the third Black Panther will foreshadow what's to come in Avengers: Secret Wars. But what do you think? Tell us your own theories about Black Panther 3 in the comments, and keep watching ScreenRant.